Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. I'm sure y'all have seen this video. It has gone viral. This is a male teacher in a classroom, and there are students, looks like several girls, taking down his braids. He said he had a hair appointment after school. Normally he would have taken the braids down the night before, but they had a camera crew coming, shooting a live stream promotional for the school, and he was one of the teachers being interviewed, so he wanted to leave his hair braided. He didn't want to look unkempt. So he said it was 10 minutes before dismissal, and usually 10 minutes before dismissal, they really are preparing to go home. They're not deep into problem solving 10 minutes before dismissal, unless it's a teacher who just works all the way up to the last minute. And that's usually a teacher who's not well planned. But it's a time to go home, and children like to mill around the teacher's desk if they like the teacher, and they got a lot to say. And let me just stop and say, when I was in the 3rd grade, our teacher let us play in her hair. So this is not unusual for me. So 10 minutes before dismissal, you're really putting closure to the day. So these girls, I'm sure, hanging around the desk talking to him, because it seems that he's that kind of teacher. He bonds with the students, and he talks with the students on a formal and an informal basis, which is very good. But he had them taking the hair down, and it got a lot of buzz. So he calls himself bringing his case before the court of public opinion, I guess, which is a mistake. But he's giving people the opportunity to weigh in on whether or not what he did was appropriate or not. And I'm going to say up front that I don't think he should have been fired. Now, I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I don't think he should have been fired, and I'll explain why. First and foremost, there are police officers that kill innocent people, unarmed people, and they don't even go to jail. They don't get arrested. They don't have to answer for it in any way. They're put on administrative leave, or they are suspended with pay while the department does an investigation. Very often, the results of that investigation was that the officer was justified. So that's one reason why I don't think he should have been fired. Number 2, there was no irreversible violation of these students. If you want to consider that there was a power dynamic between teacher and student, and he crossed that line, okay, fine. But that's not irreversible. The students weren't harmed. There was no physical altercation. There was no sexual violation of the children. They were just unbraiding his hair. Now, I do understand people saying that's inappropriate for a teacher to cross that line, because there should be a separation between teacher and student. And then people went all off into random about what could have happened and what sometimes happened, which didn't happen in this situation. He was simply sitting up there surrounded by a bunch of students, and everybody knows when you work with these children, the smartest thing you can do is not be left alone with one of them. So he was just sitting there, and they were unbraiding his hair. Now, I do understand people's concern for that, and there are many parents who would not want their children, their daughter, to unbraid a teacher's hair. I get that. But there's another side of it too that I think is important to look at, and that is that in the school that he's teaching in, it looks like it might be a predominantly black school. There are children in that school who need attention, adult attention. Those girls need validation. Some black girls grow up, by the time they're teenagers, they're afraid of men, or they can't stand men, many times because of the kind of men that have had access to them. So for them to learn how to be comfortable and conversational with a man without feeling threatened is a good thing. Now, I know a lot of people won't see that, but when you work in these schools with these children and you see the condition that some of them come to the school in, you would understand. And another point is, there's such a need for black male teachers in these schools. They need teachers to relate to the boys and the girls. So maybe that, it seems like this was his way of relating to the children. Those girls were just talking and they were just taking down his hair just like taking down their grandma's braids. It was just a good vibration. And I wish we could give each other a break once in a while. I am delighted to see young black men working in these schools with these black children, because they need a balance. They need black women and black men in these schools, interacting with them, normalizing them, and helping them through this difficult time called middle and high school. And I'm still aware of the fact that there was a power dynamic there that maybe that shouldn't have been crossed. But I believe that it's important for black children to know how to interact with each other and with adults. Because in any other scenario in that school, those girls would have been fighting and bullying each other. All they were doing was unbraiding the teacher's hair. Now, what I think should have been done, since so many people were upset about it, what I think they should have done, not fire him, but put him on administrative leave. Well, he's not an administrator, but put him on, give him a leave or a temporary suspension. And during that suspension, he should be counseled and mentored. They don't always teach you everything when you go to college. Some things you just have to know. So the superintendent of that school system and his supervisor, as well as the principal, should look at his evaluations. Teachers have to be evaluated. They need to look at his evaluations to see if he has violated or crossed any other lines. See what his classroom management is, what his students' performance is. They need to look at the total picture. If he is a good teacher, he should not be fired. Now, I will stand on that. I respect how other people feel about it, but if he is a good teacher, he should be put under the supervision of a more seasoned teacher. You don't just throw a good teacher away, because they could get rid of him and bring somebody else in who does everything right, and the children barely make any progress under that teacher. They should help him, work with him, give him more training, and encourage him to bond with the children and interact with them in more appropriate ways. So I think they need to look at the total picture, and I believe he should be given a second chance, maybe even at another school in that district. But firing him, to me, is really too harsh. Because let's be honest, if the worst thing that you can say about a teacher is that he let children unbraid his hair at the end of the school day, I don't really think you have much of a case against that teacher. So I don't think he should be fired. But y'all let me know what you think about it. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.